Well, I think it's appropriate in this for listeners. It was not pre-planned, but since we have GinzaMetrics in the house, we should absolutely talk about the tool. And I think I don't know from and maybe your opinion. We don't have to mention names, but it seems to me that there's probably 3 or 4 enterprise-ready SEO platforms that are legitimate nowadays. Yeah. So, and I would say, and to people listening, there's a lot of low-cost tools out there that are based on 5-year-old SEO best practices, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so one of the nice things about Ginza, and I want to pay an absolute compliment where it's due, is the fact that it's my problem with SEO guys that we talked about on the last show, right? I think it was the last show. Was it with Michael?
Yep.
On the last show, I talked about that. There's a lot of SEO practitioners that are pure analysts. They're just pure analysts. They're pure robot mathematicians, and they never tapped into the soul of their audience. They never wrote for their audience. So the things that you were saying, and I was listening, by the way, the things that you were saying about, oh my God, journalists would make great, like I always said, salespeople would make great writers for the web because they understand people's negativity, or they understand how to overcome those challenges. They understand how to personally engage with a reader and talk to them, whereas marketers honestly don't all the time. We create these personas and brands, and we kind of decorate them and make them fancy, and we think that's it, and then someone blows a hole in it and we go, oh my God,
Well, you have to love the people more than you love your own product or service.
That's exactly it. And so I love that aspect of what you were talking about, because that's where I think these tools are, the divide is the tools that I see on the SEO side that are really compelling and really doing a great job today are paying very close attention to the audience, to the conversion metrics, and to the engagement metrics, and even social metrics that are out there that are building this. You're building a web experience and a web presence, and then the ones that aren't are paying attention to rank, volume, maybe conversions if you're lucky, but there's no real insight in there. So maybe we could walk through. Let's walk through key features of Ginza to kind of give people a picture of, hey, here's how people are utilizing the system, from that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, you mentioned like there's some enterprise level tools out there in the market, and there's also kind of like this gamut of other people that are providing a lot of stuff. And, one of the things that is interesting too is there are some smaller, lightweight features that are just that. They're not bad. They're just very lightweight, right? Like, you're not going to get any bells and whistles, or they're kind of one-off, really specific tools. And so what's happening is you see people kind of cobble together a bunch of really small like niche focused tools, as opposed to like going all in on a platform. The problem is, especially for people who are really into data, if you don't normalize the data and you just grab data from a lot of different places, you're just not even talking the same language. You're just grabbing disparate pieces of information. You're not even sure if you're actually measuring the same piece of content the same way or on the same day. I mean, even just something that I brought up one time that somebody didn't realize, because they were comparing data from multiple platforms and actually aggregating it all into one place. And so I was like, well, interestingly enough, this one set of data that you're pulling in from one place is based on GMT, and the other one is based on Pacific time. So I really appreciate your attempt to, analyze how your traffic is working. But when you're talking about millions of views to a page per day, and you're not even measuring this stuff the same way because you're cheap, I mean, that's fine. Being wrong is more expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, great point.
So for Ginza, we started out obviously like a SEO platform 6 or so years. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. 6 years ago, kind of based out of a need actually for daily tracking, right? So an enterprise platform that did daily, because at the time, the enterprise tools that were on the market were had a little bit older technology, and they were doing weekly as a standard.
That's the best you could get.
Yeah, and it was the best you could get. And if you wanted something better, they were going to have to build it for you or whatever, and it was going to cost you, umpteens of dollars. So Ginza was built to be able to do daily tracking, and then to start to loop in a lot other information that 6 years ago was also relevant. Now what we're really looking at is obviously, search and organic data, but one of the things that you see when you first dive into kind of the site level dashboard homepage is a marketing channel performance chart. And it's the first thing that you see. And the reason I like it there is that it tells you everything that's driving traffic to all of your content. And it's bucketed out by things like, paid, affiliate, mobile, native, referral, search, social, email, whatever it is. And it's doing all that. And then you can kind of click in and get a list of the exact channels. You can get visits, conversions, revenue, and you can segment all of that by keyword groups, content groups, competitor groups, by conversion type, all these different things. And so what you're getting right then and there from a look is something that everybody in your marketing organization can appreciate, which is what for every type of campaign or keyword group or feature type or location, what's driving traffic to our content. And then from there, you can dive down in and obviously get a lot more information. And we do bucket things out. We have a content insight section, a keyword insight section, a competitor insight section. Obviously, there's linking information in there, and a recommendations area, and then collaborative workforce area. And then the thing that I think that what we were talking about earlier is really important in terms of a tool. Is everything in the Ginza platform is modular. So every piece of data, every chart, graph, et cetera, that's in there is a modular piece, and you can configure it based on, again, like date range, keyword group, filters for annotations, universal rank, all these different things. And then those can each be pulled apart and combined into custom dashboards that you can then give somebody the link to. So you can essentially build a dashboard that gives just your insights that a social team might want to social. And then you just give the social team the link to the social dashboard, or the email team the link to insights that would be pertinent to the email folks. And I think that that's one of the first, it's by no means a solution to everybody's problem or to what we were discussing in terms of getting the interconnectivity and conversations there. But it's a first step that takes a platform that has a ton of information in it, and then instead of giving people this data deluge and like shoving them into this huge system and giving them a login and being like, hey, email people, like grab some insights from this, or let me send you this massive report. It gives them an interactive dashboard, plus it's updated daily. It's constantly new information. What's going in there is fresh information, and then they can do comparisons over time. They can still segment it. It's not a static report that's a PDF that they can't click around and make adjustments in.
Nice.
And I think that that's like a little bit easier to consume.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that, analytics sometimes always raises more questions than provides answers.
Totally.
So when you have that interactivity and you're able to filter down, you're able to kind of follow the story and recognize what you need to do next. And
then they can put annotations and notes in the dashboard that then somebody could go back in and collaborate. So you could put in an annotation that would say, oh, well, we released this here, or we added these new keywords here, or, this new campaign came out here. And so then somebody could put in notes and kind of talk back. So I think that that's a good place where what you're sharing is you're not looking at each your own static printout of a report or like a PDF on a screen, and then people are emailing back and forth being like, in chart 3, subsection C, this looks like this. You can actually look at the same thing and talk together in the data, and then you can create these segmentations, create these filters, and be like, does this make more sense now?
Nice. Now, GinzaMetrics, so you had mentioned, well, maybe we can talk about who's your target, from a B2B standpoint. The companies that you like to work with, is it, revenues of, $10 million and up, or is it, you have some small publishers as well? Yeah,
we've got people at a bunch of different sizes. So of the enterprise tools out there, I know we have probably one of the lower starting points. And that came from kind of earlier on, because we do have a distributed team and not a bunch of offices. We actually don't employ like salespeople. So we do
it's a good rule of thumb. It really is.
I mean, we only have inbound marketing, right? So like there's no outbound cost really for us. So we keep our expenses pretty low, which means we can keep pricing pretty low. But we work with kind of a split right now between agency and in-house teams. I would say that obviously you could use the platform as a department of one or like a really small marketing team. I would say it's best if you're a team of one. That it's probably better if you're a contractor working for a lot of different things, because you can add in multiple sites. So if you're an SEO contractor, it's probably good. Other than that, like I would say you probably need to be responsible for search or digital marketing or content marketing as part of like a larger marketing organization or an agency.
Nice. And page count, from so let's say it's, let's talk about, whether you're an agency, whether it's this, whether it's that, it's obviously not, hey, I have 5 pages and I really need to optimize the crap out of them. Are you looking at, companies that are starting, hundreds of pages, thousands of pages?
I would optimize the crap out of 5 pages, Doug.
I know.
I really would.
I actually would too. I'm kind of lying to myself.
Those are going to be the best 5 pages you've ever seen. You're going to want to die on those 5 pages. No, I mean, obviously, it depends on it, like what kind of content it is, and I mean, is it a few hundred pages that are being regularly updated, and like what's going on, like how dynamic is that content?
Right.
How quickly is it growing? So are you starting with a small amount of content and you plan on growing it?
Yeah.
So that makes a little bit of a difference. I mean, typically we're in the thousands of pages for most places, but up to multiple millions.
Yeah, absolutely. And as people, obviously, they can just go to the site and sign up for a demo.
Of course.
All right, and tell the site.
GinzaMetrics.com, and if you go check it out, there's a lovely video of me walking through the platform, so you can kind of take a look at that. And
like walking? Or?
Oh yeah, a little virtual Erin, a little redheaded.
Remember when those hit? When those hit the web?
Those are awesome, man.
Do you remember those?
We're rolling one out next week.
The person that comes
the
from
walkout video.
The walkout video
scares the crap out of you.
Yeah.
I still have nightmares.
You're clicking on another tab and somebody's talking.
Let's jump you out of the seat. And on top of that, I do want to add that GinzaMetrics has an incredible amount of academy content where they're actually helping you understand not only their own platform, but more insights into agency, understanding how to actually organize an SEO team inside of a larger agency. There's a lot of insight information there. So they're doing their job in helping not only dispel myths and this, that, and the other, because there are a lot of myths inside of SEO tools.
Tons. Yeah.
And I mean, this is an incredible cash loss.
I'll tell you when I saw a release today. I check out all these things because I'm a marketing tech addict.
Right.
Someone released another site audit. I love site audits. Like I just use them all the time. And so the first thing it said was, "Oh my God, you have like no follow links on your site." And I'm like, "Dicks, yes, on purpose, like absolutely." Like I'm just. These things frustrate me.
One of the things that somebody brought up today that I thought was really interesting was around SEO. One of SEO's problems being a lack of ability to express your knowledge of SEO with anything that actually matters, right? So apparently your options are get certified by a platform that you know how to use the platform.
Right.
Like to say that you know how to be a salesperson, you're Salesforce certified, like not really a thing.
There actually is a thing,
right? But that's what I'm saying.
There's
So,
anything.
like, is that really a thing? So we were talking
Make up
about
your own badges, and you're creating your own your own supply and demand right there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, hey, come do this imaginary.
Sometimes
thing.
with me, I see a certification of a certain platform, and I'm like, "Ooh, I am not talking to these people."
I know,
right? The people. I'm not going to mention.
Yeah, don't do it.
But the people that that's the only platform they sell it, and they sell it to everybody every day.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah. Drives me crazy.
I do think that's interesting though for SEO. There's like one of the reasons we provide all these resources and we just put them up there is because I worked in-house and in agencies, so I've seen a lot of stuff go right and even more stuff go wrong, and then talking to people every day I see stuff go right and even more stuff go wrong. So why not try to help, right? But there's still no other way for anybody to prove that they're supposedly really good at SEO. The thing that I hear from most people is a lot of hiring somebody on for SEO is just word of mouth.
Yeah, referral.
Like, I know who doesn't suck.
Yeah.
There's a heck of a lot of SEOs that suck. That's for darn sure.
Well, it's not. I know that those people care. They might have read the book. Everything else. It's just that
if it's in a book, it's probably.
And that's where I'm going with it. That's the problem. Is they believe, but they truly believe that they are knowledgeable. They truly believe that they've tested it, they've done all these things and everything else, and they don't realize that 4 algorithms have passed by, and there's other
good SEOs don't have time to read a book.
It's for your oneandone.com website, though.
Didn't we have some SEO authors on here that wrote a big book?
Wait. Well, there's that. Yeah.
Now, here's what I'll say. They do update it all the time.
Guests notwithstanding.
Book addendum 1, book addendum 2.
You know what's funny is I tell everybody, everybody, like I had a lot of people buy my book, but corporate blogging for dummies, I wrote that. And so people sometimes ask me, like, now, it's like 3 years later, they're like, would it help me? And I'm like, yes, everything but the SEO chapter. Like, don't do anything in the SEO chapter. Because back then it was so literal,
Yep.
The other things that you said that I want to talk about was one of the things that you paid extra special attention to was kind of learning the customer's process. And I love that because that's a lot of when we're pretty vendor agnostic when we're working with companies, and that's what we always ask them. Before you say what's the best tool to do X, why don't you tell me what kind of resources you have, what kind of problems you have, what kind of talent you have internal, what kind of timelines you have, because all of that can significantly change the implementation of a successful marketing tech platform. So with Ginza, maybe we can talk a little bit about that. What is Ginza's expectations from a client standpoint, as far as how many people do you have running it, and what the implementation timeline is like, dedicated hours,
training.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things that's good about not having, it's good and it's difficult about not having a sales force is that a lot of the vetting of, clients and people coming in wanting to talk is still done by, a small group of people, but everybody who's doing it knows the platform inside and out and knows whether or not we're going to be a good fit. So we actually do turn people away.
Nice.
We'll set up a demo, and then there's a questionnaire that we send out as soon as you say, hey, we're interested in learning more about the platform. And it's just got, 5 or 6 questions, and it's, what are you currently using? What else are you considering? Just a couple of things that we want to know. And anytime somebody says, oh, well, we're really only considering like Google Analytics and Moz, I'm like, well, then we should not be talking, because you're not ready, or you don't know what you're looking for, and you need to be considering us and some more enterprise stuff, but like this means you need to do a little bit more legwork on your end before we get onto this call, because I don't want to do that legwork for you, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna probably steer you towards wanting to use us, if for no other reason than because I think we can help you, not because I want your money. But if I think we can't help you, I've turned people away.
Nice.
I think that there's, some internal vetting stuff that is probably really important for getting people to understand like what's going on, is not just how many people are using it and what is the setup process, but with Ginza, onboarding is about how do we get you ramped up, not just quickly, but in a way that's actually going to get you the information outputs that you need to not only do your job, but to prove that you're doing your job and to do it again and again.
You guys are worried about results?
Not the results that you think you need, the results that somebody's actually measuring you on, because unfortunately, a lot of times those are two different things. You think that your job is one thing, and somebody else is measuring you on something else. Or your boss is being measured on something else that you don't even know about, right? Until you've been in the platform for 6 months, and then you call me and you're upset about something.
Right.
And what I say is, well, we can refactor the platform to help you find that out or achieve that or get you a measurement on that, but we have to talk about it, right? So a lot of times getting that initial setup is really painful. And what you can't have, in my opinion, is an account manager or support person walking somebody through onboarding like it's a one-size-fits-all exercise, or for somebody who's not actually a native of having to solve these problems. So the best possible people to help somebody understand how to implement a search and marketing platform are people who have actually had to do SEO and content marketing because they know what the problems are. And, I feel like agency people have a good understanding of it a lot because they've had to deal with a lot of different size clients and a lot of different size teams and personality types. So they tend to have a lot of malleable knowledge around like different kind of like moving parts.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, so we're going to, for everybody listening, we're going to write up GinzaMetrics. We'll write up some key features, throw some screenshots up. Of course, you guys got a video, too, that we can throw up there, too.
Yeah, we'll absolutely throw this into the video as well, doing some screenshots. And maybe we'll unlock a demo for us so we can walk through that and get some nice stuff there.
Yeah,
too.
and so GinzaMetrics.com, and, of course, on Facebook and Twitter. You guys are there.
And Doug has offered to buy everybody access to GinzaMetrics.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Doug.
Wow.
Forgot you did say that at the beginning of the show.
I would like to meet Doug. He sounds like someone with a lot of money. All right. And then, of course, sign up at the Marketing Tech blog for our weekly newsletter. You'll love it. Research, discover, learn new tools.